Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Hey. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running.
Welcome into another episode of The Rewind. I'm Monty, your host, the captain of the ship. Want to give a special thanks to 1990 Studios and my brother Chris. But before I start with tonight's episode, we got a nice lineup for you guys tonight. I want to give a public, sincere apology to my producer Chris, our producer Chris, who holds it down each and every week. Last week, if you remember, I made a public statement that USA was going to beat Canada at the TD Garden to win it all, and unfortunately, the USA lost in overtime, 3-2. So, Chris, I'm a man of my word. I apologize to you publicly. I apologize to all of the USA fans that I hyped up to get ready for this game and, just didn't get it done. But we'll be there someday. We'll take over this hockey sport someday. But as for now, USA dominates basketball, and it will be like that in every other sport that you see on the Olympics. We do that. But, Chris, I love you. Now, introducing my host, my co-host, my partner in crime, my man, the bald-headed bastard from Chicago, Temple alum, 4-time state champion, over 400 career wins in his co-head coaching career. He's done it in the football side, and he's done it in the basketball side. He is also in the Notre Hall of Fame. Bryant, welcome into another edition of The Rewind. What's good, my brother? How are you, sir?
What's good, my man? One thing I got to say, I'm glad I don't follow your ass when we're doing bets. When we're doing bets, you always come to me first.
No. Look, we have a pretty good dynamic duo going on here with FanDuel, all right? Well, it's almost that time with March Madness coming around the corner.
You're right. But you always come to me and say, hey, what do you think about this? Because if I ever go by you and you bet on USA, man, Canada kicks our ass all the time.
Hey, look, I gotta be honest to America. If you've been following me for the last few weeks, I know my locks a few weeks ago for Super Bowl, I was 2 out of 3, but you cannot root against your country. I gotta stand 10 toes with USA. Rather it's Canada, Germany, France, New Zealand, it doesn't matter. So USA just get it done, man. But it was a good game though. Overtime, we had some hard hits. It was a sluggish fest. Chris called it, but at the end, Chris smiling and I'm upset and I'm not too happy, man. I'll be honest. I thought we were gonna kick their ass again, and they got the best of us.
Hey, those Canadian flags were flaring, baby.
Hey, look, we went into Canada and kicked their ass, and they came into United States in the TD Garden and kicked our ass in overtime. I'd rather lose in 3 periods than lose in overtime. For a championship game.
I'd rather lose in 3 periods than get my ass kicked on the ice.
Hey, we got to go and come to you guys. Introducing our first special guest, Memphis' own Marquette Walker. You guys may know him as Hollywood. I am Athlete's Finest, assistant producer, lead culture host, daily show host, journalist. I mean, we've been friends for the last few years. We always supported each other's work. He's kicking ass and taking names with the I Am Athlete team. But we want to welcome in my dog, Hollywood. Hollywood, what's good, brother? Welcome into The Rewind. Your first time, hopefully not your last time. What's going on, baby?
What's going on? I gotta correct you though, Marquette Walker.
That's the second time. That's the second time.
Dwayne Wade went. Like where Dwayne Wade went.
Marquette.
D Wade, Tom Green, Shaka Smart.
Hey, look, hey, Marquette. Look, I'm calling you Hollywood. You out here. You Hollywood. You got your rag do on. Let's do it.
I'm excited. Thank y'all for having me.
Hollywood, I must admit, man, a few people in the hood that I grew up in called me Hollywood, but for tonight's episode, I grant you all the requests to use that name. You are the name. You live up to the name. I could never, man. I'm just not. But Hollywood, I appreciate you. Second, you thought it was just going to be the 3 of us tonight. Bryant, you like surprises, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I talked about this a few weeks ago. I told you privately this was going to happen. Here we go. Our next guest, a Houston native. native with a passion for sports, a University of Houston grad. She has been featured on 3 sports shows in the Houston area with CW39 and Space City Network. You can find her personal sport takes on her Instagram at Sports with Strong. And she also is a host and creator of an NBA podcast called Batty on the Boards with Athletically Declined, which airs every single Thursday night at 9 p.m. CST time. We want to welcome in our first woman on the Rewind, our dog, Texas finest, Jiselle Strong. Jiselle, welcome into Rewind. Appreciate you taking the time. How's it going in Big Texas?
It's going really good. Thank you guys so much for having me. I am so honored and I'm so excited to get into it tonight. And I really want to know and pick y'all's brains about where we're at when it comes to D1 women's basketball.
Ooh. Speaking of Division I's basketball, NCAA, we're almost at the end before going into March Madness. A few teams just have a few games left. If you didn't know, Texas is now the number 1 team in the country at 26-2. They won the last 7 of the 8 games. Out of the 8 games they played, 6 of them they won by 20 or more points. It's the first time being ranked number 1 in 21 years. Defensively, Texas is just tough as nails. I mean, Bryant, you love a good defensive team. You had your 4 state championship teams that you were part of coaching. You know what it means to have 2 Titanics down low holding it down. But Texas right now, they blew out Georgia in their last game. I mean, you know, you got Madison Booker leading the team in scoring, averaging over 16 points a game. Taylor Jones with 12. I mean, Rory Harmon, 6 assists. I mean, let's just call it. He's 10th in the country right now in assists, 5 in the country in total assists. He's got over 173 in the 29 games played this year. Jiselle, let's lean into your side because, you know, NCAA women's is your bread and butter. But this Texas team right here, when you see them at 26-2, first time number 1 in over 20 years, how dangerous is this Texas team when you watch them play?
It's definitely a threat. So I've been a huge South Carolina Gamecocks fan for the longest time and Iowa Hawkeyes because of Caitlin Clark herself. But I will say UT had to step up some way, somehow, because the men's basketball team is not going to be going against my U of H men's Cougars. Like, it's just not happening. So I'm happy that the Longhorns are finally able to get some momentum and bring some like really cool, fun basketball wow factor over at that school. But I will say it's a great, great sign for this program, not only to be number 1 for the first time in 21 years, but this is going to put them in a really, really good spot when it comes to March Madness and when it comes to seeding with brackets itself. So I think despite them having a target on their back currently, I think this is a great sign for the Longhorns program, and congratulations to these women because I'm excited for them.
It's always good when Texas sports is good. The next 2 games are at Mississippi State on Thursday, and then they finish up their last regular season game home against Florida on March the 2nd. Let's just face it, the SEC title can go either way between them, LSU, or even South Carolina, Bryant's homegirl, Coach Dawn Staley. Bryant, man, you love this Texas team, man. You've talked about them. Shout out to Coach Carter because, boy, can she put on a suit. I got to give her credit. She can dress her ass off. I'm just saying, Coach Carter, appreciate you doing the damn thing. Keep doing it. Brian, for this Texas team, man, you know, they annihilated Georgia last game, 57-26. The game was pretty much over by the third quarter. You know, with going into March Madness, but even before March Madness, going into conference play, how do you expect Texas to go up against an SEC team like LSU or South Carolina?
Hook 'em, Horns. Hook 'em. That's just what it is. They're going to put the hooks in everybody. But when it gets to South Carolina, when it gets to LSU, this is their first rodeo. They're going to have problems. They're going to have big-time problems. Those SEC schools and their women's basketball, they can just flat out play. It's just what it is. They are gritty. They are grinding. You know, Dawn, that's my homegirl. She's from Temple First. She's over at South Carolina doing the do. I don't see Texas beating them. I even have a shot. I think they're pretty much almost going to probably lose by 15 or 20 points if they ever get to that point. If they get to that point, I'm telling you, I understand. I know Dawn. I know how she coaches. She's a high demand type coach. Texas is doing a phenomenal job this year. But experience, baby. Experience. Those Horns are going to get hooked.
It does. I mean, if memory serves me correctly, just a few weeks ago in February, Texas did beat South Carolina 66-62. That was a close game in itself. Mm-hmm. But we know when you enter SEC, when you fight for that that right to be SEC champion. You know, that it's a new season. That's how I call it. 0-0. No one cares what you've done in the regular season. It's all about going into March on the right note, and both teams are. So speaking of going in on a good note, UCLA 26-1, second in the Big Ten. I mean, they lost after losing to USC, their 3-game winning streak, including being two top 25 teams, number 22 Michigan State 75-69 and 25 Illinois, Bryant's own 70-55. Jiselle, I'll lean into your side before I get to Hollywood. Can this UCLA team continue to be dominant, and how far do you see this team going in March?
Anything can happen. It's March Madness. I never want to say, hey, they're going to go really far, but I can see this UCLA team easily getting into like the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 with no whatsoever.
Whew. Hollywood, man, you this UCLA team, and let's just call it for what it is, man. You know, Taylor Jones, leading the team in scoring, averaging over 17 a game. I mean, Lauren Betts. I mean, this Texas team here. This UCLA team can hit you in multiple ways. Them losing against USC to, of course, one of the best players in the college basketball, Juju Watkins. But how do you really trust this UCLA team as they go into March? Not also with just conference tournament play coming up, but as well heading into March Madness.
Can I be devil's advocate here, please? Can I be devil's advocate here?
Yes,
can I be completely honest with you?
Go for it.
I haven't watched a lick of NCAA basketball, men's and or women. And I'm going to tell you why. Tell the folks why. And it's been the same reason here for me when it comes to the NBA. The NBA, NCAA basketball is boring. The product is boring. It's not top 10 right now. I was a huge guy coming up NBA. Memphis, wanted to go to the league. That's what I wanted to do. Not considering that I'm even working for NFL players, the NFL in itself has a better storyline. I would possibly college football has a better story.
Whoa.
I asked you at the beginning of this. Before you even came to me. I texted you last night, Monty, when I told you I haven't watched.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this Luka Mavs trade is the craziest NBA trade of all time.
You 100%
of all time.
You 100%.
Period. I don't know what it's going to take for you to watch two specific teams. You had the Mavs and the Lakers play last night, and you saw Luka get a triple-double. He pulled up to the center with his Lakers decked out sports car.
Looked at Nico Harrison fool.
Boring to you? No.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen in playoffs. Luka plays no defense. Nobody plays defense. It's just the worst basketball I see in the NBA since the 80s and 90s when they were playing real basketball. So I'm going to agree with that the fact that the NBA is boring. College is all over the place because of NIL deals and portals and whatever else, other crap they got going on. There's no loyalty in teams, so you're bouncing around like a damn pinball. It makes no sense, but that's going to get corrected soon by 2026. They're going to have different rules. They're going to tighten up the screws a little bit. They are in meetings right now with conference meetings and coming up negotiations on what to do to tighten up the screws because you're going to have to. It's just loose cannon at this point. College basketball is going to get willed in. NBA, my man, the owner, he's got problems. Adam Silver. He's got problems, like some major problems. The freaking All-Star game is a hot mess. I don't even know what the hell that was. They was throwing the ball. They was making passes through the circles. It made no damn sense.
Skills challenge.
That's
every year. That's every year.
You do the skill challenge
on Saturday.
Work on your shit in the offseason.
They do that every year.
They didn't do that back in the 80s and 90s.
No, they introduced it in the late 2000s.
Bring it back. Bring it back where it used to be.
Well, here's the thing. Bring it back to where actual guards can participate. Like when you had Deron Williams, Tony Parker, Steve Nash. I mean, actually guards of the game to participate in these skill challenges. That what made it more exciting. Now they just pick anybody on a team and just put four together and go figure it out. But Memphis, for you say college sports in general, women's and men's, is not exciting to me. So rank your top sports right now that you watch that are exciting besides the NFL.
I'm gonna keep 110% with you, right? I'm putting NFL number one. NFL.
Okay. One.
Right?
Was
that
two.
Storyline is amazing. I'm putting the NBA at 2, but NFL 1. If it's at the top, this one right here, 2 is all the way at the bottom. But I'm watching it though. I'm keeping up with the storylines. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like I agree with you, Jiselle, when you talk about Luka getting traded to the LA Lakers. I understand.
I wouldn't say biggest trade in history though.
One can argue, huh?
I wouldn't say biggest trade in NBA history though.
Okay. No, I said it's one of the biggest trades to happen. Like,
what's the biggest trade
One of them.
What's the biggest trade then?
It ain't Bryant going to Miami either, or signing.
No, but what's the biggest trade?
I'd say it's the craziest trade in the middle of the year. This had to be the most insane trade I've ever seen in my lifetime. Choose a stud that plays no D. And then you have Anthony Davis going over to Dallas. It was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a trade like that.
This was the first time in NBA history when that was new. That was facts. The first time in NBA history was 2 all-pro players got traded for one another mid-season. That's the biggest trade.
What's the payoff? Let's see what the payoff be. Let's see what the payoff comes out to be, because it's got to work out for my Lakers. For the hell with the Mavericks. I mean, you got a 32-year-old can't stay healthy Anthony Davis. God bless. Now, when healthy, which we saw last night, I won't get too much in NBA, but what you seen last night from Kyrie having 32 points, and you get a Harrison back, you get a Anthony Davis back healthy, what Kyrie just did last night, that's a recipe for success. And Dallas can be very, 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 very dangerous in the Western Conference as they go into the playoffs. Hell, shit, they can make the Western Conference final, because I don't think anybody in the West right now, besides Denver, giving maybe a little bit of trouble. I'm not too worried about Oklahoma City to give them any trouble, but Dallas can be pretty lethal when healthy. But that's all I got to say about that. But shame on you to put NFL high as hell at the top.
That's not a shame. That's not a shame.
Why?
Thank you.
What?
That's not.
Why? Do you rank NFL number 1 right now?
Absolutely. There's nothing. What else? You gonna put soccer up there?
I'm not going that far.
Exactly. So it's just what it is. The NFL trumps everything. This is an American sport. It's American. So everybody watches football. The world stops when football comes on.
You're right.
What it is.
Correct.
In America.
Yes. Only in America. Brian, who's my women's college basketball team? Do you know?
That's a good trivia question. I'll probably want to say Tennessee back when Pat Summitt was there.
That's not my.
No, Monty strikes me as like a California team guy.
Oh no, Notre Dame fighting Irish, led by Coach Ivy, 24-3. Chris, pull up the clip. Give me something, man. Was ranked number 1 last week, but dropped with the loss to NC State, which that was probably the best game this year in college basketball. Lost in double overtime, 104-95. They are now ranked number 3 in the country. Shout out to NC State, man. They came to play. They held Notre Dame to 41% from the field, 25 from 3. If you watched Notre Dame this year, you know they love the 3-point line. First in the ACC with 15-1, with the home game coming up against Florida State, which would be a good game, because I tell you what, man, Tiana Lawson, she does lead the country in scoring at 26 a game. She is fucking phenomenal, excuse my language. One of the best scorers in the game. But, the best player in the country, as you see right here on this screen, Miss Hannah, let's talk about it. Can run an offense. She does what she can do from an offensive, defensive standpoint. I mean, Olivia Miles, our partner in crime, McDonald's All-American, 16 points a game, six assists. I mean, she's first in the country in triple doubles. If you know Euron Hawkins, Garv, like we do, he swears that, Olivia Miles is the best player on Notre Dame. I would personally disagree. Hannah by far is the best player on this Notre Dame team because she do it all, but Olivia does too, no disrespect. But for me, Bryant, for this Notre Dame team, how dangerous they can be. I feel like they have all the ingredients in that they will win the national championship this year. Yes, I said it. They will win the national championship this year. But for this Notre Dame team, man, how lethal and dangerous can they be going into the tournament? And do you see them getting to a Final Four?
I don't see them getting to a Final Four. I'm gonna have to.
Who beating them? Who beating them?
It's certain things that teams can do to her to basically offset her. She's a phenomenal basketball player, but Notre Dame. Usually, sometimes they're always there and they can never finish the job ever.
Aren't they currently ranked number 7 in the AP polls? If I'm not mistaken,
probably. I think so.
No,
so you know, they are a phenomenal team. Don't get me wrong.
They're 3 in the country.
One or two people can't do it. It's just when you're going to need a team of 5. All you have to do is deny her the ball.
Teams of 5 right now in women's basketball. Let's just call it for what it is.
Look, you deny her the basketball, and what happens?
Olivia Miles get cooking.
Yeah, but you deny your point guard, and it's over.
Every team. You saw what NC State did last week when they tried to deny Hannah the ball, and guess what happened?
That's NC State.
They're number 9 in the country.
Still, there's number 9. Number 9 doesn't mean they're the top 4. They're not the top 4.
you can definitely see them in the Elite Eight, but it's still so early because we don't know the seedings of everything. We don't know the bracketology. So I think anyone saying a team can win the national championship title or be in the Final Four, that's mainly just optimism and gut intuition and just being privy to the game of ball. But I'm going to say Notre Dame can definitely be in the Elite Eight. Can they go further? 100%.
Yes.
Definitely. But it depends on the other teams that they're going to be matching up until that point.
I agree.
Correct.
When we go to the Elite Eight, we'll touch back based on this topic.
We'll bring you back we'll bring you back when it's time, March Madness. We get the bracket challenge going. We trust me when I tell you, Notre Dame going to be in the Final Four.
My Cougs are going into the Final Four. These men's basketball, like it's happening. I don't care if anybody.
I have them going as well. I have Coach Sampson and his Houston team going as well.
Look, Houston is probably the oldest team in the country. You know, they got Is it Auburn or Houston?
It's Auburn.
I remember Houston Auburn's
that sneaky team this year.
They have Auburn has 25 and 26-year-olds, and Houston is right behind. I mean, this team, this is pro basketball. This is like pro basketball watching pro basketball. These guys are so old. I wish they had these rules back when I was playing. Hell, I would be 30 still playing college football. It just makes no sense. So, but at the end of the day, man, I appreciate it. I see what they're doing. It's making schools a lot of money, but yet, damn, by the time they get out, hell, they're going to be so old, they can just go right into the system and just keep playing pro basketball.
That's true. I mean, we had Jamal Shed. He went to the Toronto Raptors. And then before that, we had Marcus Sasser. He went to the Detroit Pistons. And then before that, we had Quentin Grimes. But Quentin's been moving around because he was at the Pistons, and then he was with the Mavs, and now he's with the Sixers, and apparently he's helping Philadelphia a lot at this point. So as long as he's playing, that's cool.
Quick question: Who's the best player in the country for women's? Juju or Hannah or just opinion?
Because nobody said Juju last year, and I'm going to say Juju this year. It's her time.
Oh, Bryant.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Juju, but you know who I like. You know who is my all-time favorite women's basketball player at Rutgers. What is her name?
I'm not going to say it because that's your girl.
That is my freaking girl, and I can never pronounce her name correctly, and I'm not going to do it.
Why not?
At least try. For anyone
No, I gotta pronounce her name correctly. I cannot mispronounce her name. That is my all-time favorite. The young lady K. I just call her K.
You ready? You want me to help you? Ready? Repeat that. Kayomi.
That's what.
McMiller.
Okay. Kayomi. All right, I got you. Kayomi
McMiller. There you go.
Kayomi McMiller.
There you go.
She plays like she's in the NBA.
And she's only a freshman.
She's only a freshman.
Rutgers
Rutgers stinks. She don't have any help, but yet she can take over a game at any given time. She can play 1-on-5 and score, play defense.
You know, I'm real upset. I'm real upset that I didn't get to see her versus Juju few weeks ago, I think a month ago, when USC came to town, that really hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings.
I tried, and I failed because Rutgers is acting funny, but that's okay.
Oh, wait, let me jump in. I'm sorry. Could you tell me your name again, Monty?
Kayomi McMiller.
McMiller. Bryant, you said that she played like is she in the NBA? That's interesting.
Yeah, she plays like she's Jamal Crawford.
Oh, she's got some nasty hands.
The old school NBA, not the new one.
Okay.
Jamal Crawford.
Do you mean Jamal Crawford, $6 million a year with the Clippers?
Yes.
Or Jamal Crawford with the New York Knicks?
The Jamal Crawford, period. I don't care where he's playing. She plays, it's a scantron of him. So she's phenomenal. I mean, a fantastic basketball player. I love Juju. I think Juju deserves all the credit this year, but Kayomi she's that girl.
Jiselle, speaking of your girl, Juju, averaging 24 points a game, third in the country in scoring. Right now, USC is we're 25-2 in a year. Recently, they got a big win over UCLA, their rivals, who I think let's just call for what it is. USC will win the conference. That's my prediction, because I don't think anybody can stop Juju and her partner Kiki at 18 points a game, her partner in crime. For this team here, right now, USC is first in the country in blocks, averaging 7 blocks a game. I mean, what Kiki does down low is protect the rim. She runs the floor on both ends of the floor, and she can push the pace. But as you see right here, Bryant, people make the argument that Juju is the best player in the country. I personally disagree. Juju does bust her ass on defense, which again, to be great, you got to do it on both ends, and she does that. She gets her teammates involved. She knows how to facilitate. She's very, very patient on offense. She let the game come to her. I think that's something that lacks in today's game. A lot of players like to go out there and go get it, but when you let the game come to you, things happen. Things open up. Your shot goes. She doesn't have to force anything. Her shot selection is not really suspect. But for right here, Jiselle, with USC, what's the ceiling for them in March Madness? Because I know that they're going to win the conference. I don't think UCLA can beat them. They may give them a run for their money, of course, but what's the ceiling for this USC team with Juju leading the force?
Honestly, when it comes to teams like that, they need to beat big powerhouse teams such as those in the SEC. I mean, you have the big kahunas of LSU and then South Carolina. They are coached by two of the most incredible women in women's college basketball. So if she's able to level up and win against those two huge powerhouses, then I think USC is already in great hands. But I think it's going to look really great trajectory-wise for going so far in March Madness, which obviously USC, again, Elite Eight. I think anyone can even vouch and push for USC being a Final Four contender.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Bryant, what happens if you deny Juju the ball?
They're in trouble, just like Notre Dame. So, but at the end of the day, here with Juju, I don't respect, and I'm sorry, West Coasterners, I don't respect anybody that plays basketball on the West Coast, because I think their style of basketball is soft. You have Hurley out there in Arizona, and you have USC out here women's basketball. I don't think they play the physical capabilities that like they do out here in the East and in the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is more of a slower power basketball game that they will struggle against internally. The West Coast basketball is just run and shoot. It's almost like basically you on a sprint, and then you get them into a half-court offense. They struggle a little bit, but women's basketball is a little bit slower than men's. However, I think the talent is all the way out in the East and down in the Southeast Conference. It's just, you really going to have to come with a force and a bench to be able to defeat those teams out here in the SEC.
Yeah, when we look at this UConn team, 26-3, they did get a really impressive win over South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't at full strength, that I will say. Then you got South Carolina right behind them at 25-3. I mean, we know Paige Buckets has had a hell of a UConn career. She did come back from some very obviously very costly injuries with tearing her ACL. But UConn's right back in the mix. I mean, Gino every year just finds a way with his team to be right there in the Elite Eight, if not a Final Four team. That's just a standard at UConn. That's what it pretty much will be until he retires. I'm not sure if he has another run in him to win a national championship. I will say I think this is his best chance yet because, obviously, the coaches are getting better with Notre Dame, Cosby, Coach Ivy, but the game is changing. Right now it's safe to say that Coach Don has got the game in a headlock in terms of recruiting, in terms of the NIL, in terms of obviously winning, being a multiple two-time national champion and pretty much got the game on her shoulders. But Bryant, for this UConn team with Gino, you've seen Gino over the years, you've seen the rise, you've seen all the greats that come through there, Maya Moore, et cetera. Do you think this UConn team has one more run in them? And if so, is it this year?
I think they do. I think they have a shot to get into the Final Four. I don't think they're going to get to the finals. This is not the same old UConn teams that he usually have. Talent is a little bit different. Actually, it's quite a bit different from what he used to have before. But he's going to compete. He's not going to lose a game by 12. I tell you that. It's going to be a 2 or 4 point game, and it's going to be a dogfight, especially if they get to the Final Four. And I see them losing in the Final Four to get to the finals, depending on the seeding, of course. But yeah, you have to give the man respect. I forgot how many national titles that he has. He has so many. I think probably more than he has fingers. But at the end of the day, the man can coach. He's like a great coach that I look up to. And I learned a lot from him and Coach Chaney from Temple. And I think that those guys are going to do phenomenal. I think that UConn is going to be right there. And it's going to take a little bit of luck to beat those top tier teams.
Giselle, let's just call it for what it is, because I know for a fact these two teams, South Carolina and UConn, will face again. UConn did win 87-58 on the road in South Carolina, which is a tough place to play. But with this South Carolina team, I've already said publicly that they are a dark horse because right now all the spotlight's not really on them. They've been banged up this year, but Coach Staley's got them right in the mix to be the best in terms of winning another national championship. I'm not sure if this is the year, but with this South Carolina team, what's your expectations for them going into March, knowing that right now they're not the hottest team in the country, they're not the most talked about, and they've lost a few games this year, which is something we haven't seen from South Carolina in a few years. Right.
No, 100%. Any talk that's going on about South Carolina at this current point isn't very good. But with head coach Dawn Staley, she's not going to fret about that. She's just going to eliminate all the noise. She knows what she's doing. She's coming off of a win. This team will make it to the Final Four, no problem. It's about who they're going to go against and if they have
Notre
enough
Dame.
stamina to be able to win another championship back-to-back.
So safe to say you got South Carolina in the Final Four. I have Notre Dame in the Final Four. I look forward to seeing two black women head coaches go at it to win a national championship. That'll be something. That Hollywood. Now that's a good story to tell, right? That you talk about stories, right? That's a good story to tell, right? There it is. Speaking of Hollywood, my man, I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall, Kai and Nicole Brown. They just recently wrapped up a recent episode that you can find on YouTube at I Am Athlete with a special guest that they had, Deion Dawkins. But Holly, before we get into that recent episode, give us a little bit of insight for you, being a part of that team that's going on. I Am Athlete with Brandon Marshall leading the charge. What's that opportunity been like? And tell us a little bit about it behind the scenes that we don't get to see on camera.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing, first and foremost. I've been working with the brand, I know, for about 6 months now. Me and B, we've had a relationship that goes all the way back to like 2020, like when he first launched I Am Athlete, and it started with a simple DM, right? And it just kind of went on from there. But yeah, like I said, Insight is great. It's a grind, like day to day. We record Monday through Wednesday, a live show, YouTube, 11 a.m. We just closed the deal with Revolt. So now we have a show with them as well that airs every Wednesday on linear, as well as on YouTube too. Brandon is a guy, I wouldn't say that he's a perfectionist, but he's a guy that's in love with process, right? What does that mean, Hollywood? Like, what do you do from A to Z? 8 a.m. from when you wake up to 12 p.m. to when you go to bed that next day, right? So that's the thing, man. Like when it comes to putting together a script, when it comes together putting together topics, I'm a producer as well as a host here too. So it's like really just getting into the mind of him, and I'm his producer at that. So it's like really just getting to the mind of him, and him like kind of almost kind of knowing the conversations that he wants to have. That's interesting when you can look at a topic and just be like, I know Bia like that. And I know that perspective he'd want to come from here. I can write this question. I can make this question. And now we got a conversation, right? So that's the thing there. And that's for meetings and all that kind of stuff that we have. That's for one-on-one conversations that we have. We're always brutally honest with one another. Like OGs, like the big brother I almost never had for real. So it's like somebody that I can just go back and forth with and be real with and improve with too.
Yeah, you got to respect your OGs. OGs are important. Without OGs, I feel like for us as young Padawans, young Jedis that's trying to make a way in this world, without that OG, without that mentorship, man, we're lost. I just call it for what it is. And I know I can speak for all three of us, Jiselle included, because we're all young Jedi, just trying to grind, just trying to figure out, just trying to make plays. But, you never know. I always say this, you never know what somebody will do when given an opportunity. That's all somebody needs is an opportunity. And the rest is history. So Brandon's done that for you, man. I'll say this, man. You're doing your damn thing. You're grinding, man. I see the stuff you're doing behind the scenes. You're showing up and you're showing out and you're putting in the work, and the results show. I mean, you guys put out a good product over there, and with you leading the charge, as the producer as well as doing your thing on the mic. I mean, it just balances, it just flows. I mean, those are things that matter in terms of that secret ingredient. You are the secret ingredient, and I just want to give you your flowers while you're here. But Bryant, speaking of OGs, man, you have been an OG to many players. I mean, you put many kids through college for free. You've had an opportunity to win at the highest level in terms of winning multiple state championships. You've had a lot of losing seasons, but how important is mentorship in today's world, especially with myself, Hollywood, and Jiselle being the next generation? How important is that? And I feel as though we are lacking mentorship in my generation.
Well, it's this generation is a lot of stuff going on compared to when I first started back in 1993. I want to say 93, 94. I've mentored a lot of young men coming all the way up to coming to Eastside High School, coaching football and basketball. So I place a lot of young men in the NFL from Holy Cross High School. I remember there's one young man named Kevin Landahl. I forgot what he played. I think he played at Purdue, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. And there's a few other ones that also play in the NFL. If you see behind me, there's Randy Foy, which I've coached. And, he was one of my first young men that I truly, truly mentored from the time he was a freshman. He stepped into Eastside High School all the way up into his career, ended at Villanova, and he wound up playing in the NBA. I also mentored a little bit of Hassan Whiteside and several other college players that over hundreds of them have gone on to school for free, and all over the country. So so many young men that it's critical for the OGs of what you guys call it to basically guide our youth all the way up to their peak. Some can't deal with it. I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough coach. Always have been. I'm tough on everything too, because one of the things that if you're soft with the youth, they're going to be soft in life. And that's always something that I basically kind of guided myself through. I always had tough coaches, and I was tough on my own child. So they just didn't understand it. But now, they're starting to see the fruits of the labor. You basically cannot be soft in this world because this world will swallow you whole. And that's part of my mentorship. You come through me, you can survive me, you will last a lifetime. And that's what it is. And you had quite good experience with that too, Monty.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Can I ask a question though, Bryant? Like, other than hard work, like you said, Hassan Whiteside, Randy Foy, people that you mentored, like what was a common trait, like I said, other than hard work, that you saw in each of those individuals?
Well, a lot of that, outside of the sport itself, I personally went inside young men's homes, basically educationally had to guide them as well, and basically in touch with their families. That was a very important dynamic of engaging families into the community as well as the school within itself. So a lot of work took a play of that. Randy didn't have his parents. So I basically took over the parenting, uncle, father, or whatever it may be, And I make sure I used to go back and forth from Eastside High School to my house when I lived in New Jersey. And I traveled from New Jersey all the way to Villanova to go see his games. And I will come all the way back home. I'll pick him up from Villanova, take him all the way to Newark, and then bring him all the way back to Newark, and then come all the way back to New Jersey within that same day. So it's more to it than just, talking to him for 2 hours. I had these young men for 24 hours. So it was a lot of work that had to go into it.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
Hollywood, what's your take right now on culture and music, man? Because, we got this whole Kendrick and Drake thing still going on. I mean, Drake just came out with an album with Party Next Door. I like the music. The lyrics behind it mean something to me. I'm a Drake guy till the day I die. I'm just going to call for what it is. Team Light Skin, we still here, baby. We ain't going nowhere. Team Light Skin, we here. But Hollywood, what's your take right now on the music culture?
As well
as just Kendrick and Drake stuff. Like, break it down. Give it to us.
You know what? I'm gonna answer the first question. So, what's my take right now on culture and music? So, I feel like it's going in the wrong direction, and I tell you why. Only because of look at the stuff that's going on with Diddy. Look at the stuff that's going on with Dirk. Right? Even look at the way that Drake and Kendrick are beefing right now. Is this any way we should be treating one another? That's the perspective I come from. Now, given right, Drake right now, even when that Party Next Door and that Drake album dropped. He dethroned Kendrick Lamar on Spotify first day streams, 92.4 million streams, right?
Say it again.
He took him off, right? But GNX, that album, I believe that next day, maybe a couple days later, it still end up hitting the number one ranks on the Billboard Top 200 when you talk about albums. So that's okay, right? The beef, I feel like that's okay for the rap game, but morally, I think it's going in the wrong direction. You Lil Durk, right? Murder for hire charges. More charges now about to get piled on, considering some stuff that happened the other day with the case. It's so much stuff that's happening in the rap game right now, and that we're seeing firsthand. I was a kid when a lot of this stuff was going on. I was just coming out the womb. I know I was born in 2003. And so now to see a lot of this stuff come to light, it's oh my goodness, really? Is this what's happening? Is this the kind of stuff that we gotta fight? You know what I mean? When we get older and we're sitting in those positions of power and dealing with certain people, are you telling me I might end up crossing the next Diddy? No. I don't want to do that.
So what do you think is got to give? What is it that's got to change, with everything that's going on, the negatives, and then obviously, Diddy and Dirk and everybody being in the news constantly. What is it in terms of the culture? Speak from a culture perspective that's got to change to turn this thing around to head into the right direction, because we got a long way of 2025 to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the truth. No more of these streaming bots or none of that. But ultimately, I always feel like it's the heart, that's what's got to change. It's how much do you want it? The work, really go through it and not cheat the process, not having allegedly these freak parties to do some of these things to move up. That's a story in itself, but I can really take it there if you want me to take it there, Monty. You want me to take it there?
Take it there. Take it there on the rewind.
If you don't take it there, I'm gonna take it there, to the probably to the tip. I did it. I did the industry for 10 years. So, I can take it there, but I'm going to just go feed off of what you say. Go ahead.
They don't believe in Jesus, right? It's a lot of people get on stage at these Grammys and at these award shows and stuff like that, and they say, thank God. Well, who's your God? Who do you believe in? I believe in Jesus, right?
So do I.
That's the conversations that have to be that has to be had publicly, right? And I'm okay with having it. And any backlash that comes behind it, right? So
fact.
I think that's the biggest thing when you talk about a culture shift, man. It's you got people out here that's making millions, right? Some families will never be able to see that in a lifetime. I know people that genuinely said, I want to stay in the hood for the rest of my life. I love the hood. But it's when you got people out here that's making this money and making it to the top, and you still out here catching charges. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, you gotta be able to pull others with you. And what I mean by that is, I look up to a lot of people, Bryant included, and Bryant comes from Chicago, struck more severe trauma struggles than my upbringing, right? And you take a guy like that and you look at him now, right? He's been successful in the business world as an investor. He's getting ready to become a financial advisor. Yes, I'm speaking into existence. He's won as a coach for over 25 years, and his grind, his work ethic speaks for itself. I mean, for him to live in Pennsylvania and then travel an hour plus to work every day, to get up out the door, get up by 5, out the door by 6 o'clock, to drive to get to work on time, then to do practice at 5 to 7, then after 7 to drive back if he's not going to recruit during the basketball season, to get home by 11 o'clock at night, don't eat dinner, just take a shower, get in bed, do it all over again. Those are things that I feel, when people are in positions of power, what are we doing to help the next generation? What are we doing to help the person next to us? Because, our mentality in terms of a Black culture, we always focus on what I have versus what he ain't got. When it could easily be, well, shit, if I'm at a level 8 and the person next to me that's grinding and getting out of the mud is at a level 6, let's bring him up. Or if he's at a 4, let's bring him up. You know what I mean? Like, I feel as though with mentorship, just from my perspective, my generation, we're figuring it out, but the generation after us, man, they're all screwed up. Yeah, they don't want to listen. They think they know it all. They think they have all answers to the tests, and they feel as though that's their environment that they are in is the world. There's more to the world than hood. There's more to the world than poverty. There's more to the world than your city, your state, like travel, see things. But if you don't put yourself in those positions to work hard and to grind and to be disciplined, you got to have the discipline, because you're going to have a lot of no's. I mean, look at yourself. Look at Jiselle. Look at Bryant. We've all took a lot of no's in our career or in our life. But shit, all we need was that one yes. The only difference is we just kept going. You know what I mean?
Can I add to that, though? Because I think not only is mentorship important, but it's mentorship and taking yourself out of it, right? It's like not expecting anything in return. I'm 22 years old. If I didn't have those kind of people in my life, Monty, I would not be in Western Florida today.
Fact.
I'm telling you.
That's a fact.
I was in 10th grade, was a lady, I'm not going to tell her name on here, but it was a lady I was calling. I'm trying to get the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm trying to get my media pass. I'm trying to go cover the weekend. Didn't get my media pass, but I got a call back from NBA headquarters in New Jersey one of those days. I'm at school, high school. Lady called me back. Hey, is this Marquette? I said, yeah, it's Marquette. I'm in class. I get up, leave, to go. Hey, this is such so-and-so giving you a call from the NBA. I've gotten your 75 left voicemails. If you want to cover NBA All-Star Weekend, while I can't get you an NBA media pass, I can get yourself and your mom free NBA tickets. If y'all can be in Chicago, I got them for you. She expected nothing in return, and to this day, I have an amazing relationship with her. So that's what I mean when I say mentors and people that you know that can bring you out too. It's like, that's the beautiful part of it. Like, that's the best part of it. Now, giving in business, it's always like a thing of, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. All right,
correct.
Cool, get that. But if you my brother, you know what I'm saying? If you my homie, if you my partner, and we trying to put something together, man, I don't want to go through your PR. I don't want to go through your manager. I'm about to hit your phone. I'm about to call you. Directly. Especially if you my partner, it'll be a different story. Facts. I don't know who you are. But it's like, that's it. Like, that's the answer to your question right there. How do you shift the culture? Like in 2025, this new year, like, just come on, like, but do it the right way though, right?
Correct.
One of those things, and I don't know if you guys know this, but it's that middleman that puts a stranglehold on those guys that already made it.
That middleman is serious.
That middleman, and I'm not going to go any deeper than what that is, because I already know what time it is when they talk about this industry. That middleman was basically has a strong arm hold on their particular artist, and they only want to do so much for you. And it's been told to them that they can only do so much, and eventually, you guys wind up separating by force, because they own you. So at the end of the day, with this your generation, it's extremely important for you to own your own stuff, to cut out the middleman, so to a point where you don't need them, so you can help the community and bring them up and start their own brand. And at that point, now you can say, look, this is your own, this is what you got, I'm doing this for you, and it's up to you to run it. But you got to have an agreement and say, do not hire any middlemans. Yeah. And I'm gonna call them just middlemans. I'm not gonna call it exactly what it is.
I got a better word for you. I got a better word for you. We know we can call the middlemans gatekeepers.
Yes.
That's called for how we see it. Yes. Jiselle, let's give us it from your perspective, because, you know, you're a well-respected woman in sports that's grinded her way through and obviously still have many more ways to go. But I want to give you your flowers while you're here and congratulate you on your success. You know, obviously you have your podcast your show that he does every Thursday, 9:45 CST time. But from your perspective, from a woman perspective, give us a little bit of your insight in terms of mentorship, as well as something that's lacking in the women in sports world.
Mentorship is super key. It is so important and extremely pivotal. I mean, I have gotten a lot of help just by sending a message, just by connecting with someone on LinkedIn. It's gone a long way for me. My biggest advice for anyone is just to keep your LinkedIn experience updated at all times, and just never be embarrassed or weirded out to connect with someone on there and just to shoot them a message, because the worst that can happen is either they don't respond to you or they kind of give you a soft no, like, oh, okay, like maybe, I don't know, you know, that's a no, but you put yourself out there. And I think that's the biggest issue in our generation and then right after us, because me and Monty were born in the same area, around the same time. I'm born in 98. Same. And I will say a lot of people do not like just to communicate. If you have to talk to someone one-on-one or even do a phone call, most people do not like that, which is not a good thing. But you can get a lot of opportunities and growth just by having a conversation, because you never know who you're talking to and you never know how that one person can help you, whether it's that day, whether it's that month, that year, or a few years down the road. Just make those connections, because those are extremely important. Secondly, as a young lady, as a young woman in the sports industry, I have a huge passion for this, love for this, my heart and soul's in it. But I will say you will kind of get those snide remarks, you know, it's like, who is this girl? Does she actually know what she's talking about? I've been told that, like, little snide comments here and there. I just let it wash off over me, because I mean, it just doesn't matter. I'm not there to debate against them. The only thing I have to do is just prove to myself and just prove to my audience, just by, you know, proofs in the pudding, just based on how I talk, my knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to have those pushbacks because people don't like change, or people are uncomfortable with certain topics or subjects. And that's okay. As long as you are true to yourself and you just keep it moving, the worst that can happen is you limiting your own self. So that's my biggest advice for anyone at this time. Aside from the fact that there's a lot of layoffs and hiring freezes within this industry, you just got to keep moving, because those rejections, those like no answers, those applications that you do and you hear nothing, I think that's the worst thing. I'd rather just hear a no than to have stone cold silence. You just got to keep it moving.
Yeah, I'll say this, Jiselle, and I'm sure Marquette and Bryant can testify, especially Bryant being the OG in this thing. Marquette got it right? We have to do a better job, or a more consistent job, of supporting each other, because support is free. It doesn't cost you nothing. To share someone's stuff, to like somebody's stuff, to comment, to be word of mouth, to share it to your platform. What does it cost you? Nothing. I mean, in terms of this brand and Rewind and stuff like that, we've done some good things. We're continuing going to do great things because we're just on a mission from God. But those things that I feel as though I expect, I'm going to say I should say expect. I would like to see my people share love, support, buy merchandise, whatever. But when those things don't happen, you know, maybe I start to ask myself, well, does that person know how to support? Or because if we can be on social media and we could share rappers, music videos, and all these different, you know, high lifestyle things that, you know, you're not even doing, what about the person that's next to you? What about the person that's been grinding in the trenches to get to that moment where they feel like not that they're arrived, but they're making plays in their own profession to get to where they're trying to go? And I know for me, it cost me $0 to support anybody. And you guys know that included, because I don't have a problem coming on here having a conversation with whoever's a guest, wear their stuff, talk about their merchandise, advertise it, and where to go. I'm not looking for anything in return. I'm just using my platform to shine a light on others because I feel like, that's important. But, Hollywood, get Hollywood, everybody back in there, Chris. Hey, Chris, man, can you play this real quick? Because this is part of the problem today in the world of media, in the world of culture. I mean, it's just, when I look at this, man, it's just blasphemy. It just pisses me off because, again, we have two successful black individuals, one who's a former NFL player who's done it at the highest level and has made a lot of money. And then we have someone else who's done it in the music industry as well as movie filmmaking and stuff like that, who has his own platform. Shout out to Wallow and Gilly, who's opened doors for that platform to open with Mason and Mace and Cameron. I think Chris is probably
so much
a little
of
bit
an impact that I had that bitch ass nigga felt threatened. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, we try to call him. Shout out to my nigga Bub. My nigga Bub knows some niggas he know. I tried to give him a job. He like, yo, talk to my agent. I said, I'm talking to you now. What the I don't do business like that. I talk to my agent. See, you so dumb, you can't even speak for yourself, stupid motherfucker. I tried to offer you more paper than you probably get now. Ask Mark Jackson how he got paid. Ask Mike Irvin how much he got paid. Ask them niggas if they was living lovely off the checks me and Murder would send them niggas. Ask them. I bet you ain't getting paid the money that Mark Jackson and Mike Irvin got paid working with us. I don't know this for a fact, but ask Mike Irvin and ask Mark Jackson if they get paid lovely. And if I threaten niggas like you, this is why you going to do the shit you doing. Fucking telling Stephen A about getting your piece bigger? Yo, I don't like you, nigga. I don't like you. I don't like your your whole style is bitch made, nigga. And I don't fuck with you. Try to give you a job, and then you go and suck the nigga Shannon off. Ooh, Shannon, why you go suck him off? For what? Pause. I came to you first. Oh, my agent handles anything. You dumb motherfucker. Your agent probably robbing you. Probably not as much well off as as niggas think you are. And if you still need a job, I ain't hiring no more. You better hope the nigga Shannon keep you with him, nigga. I don't like it. Hating on me for no motherfucking reason from the jump. Fuck you.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Statement.
No, wholeheartedly, I thought that was AI generated for like the first couple seconds. And I was like, no, he's popping off.
So the backstory people don't know, Chad Ochocinco was recently on Stephen A. Smith's show. They were talking about a list of things. And during that episode, Chad Ochocinco was opening it up to Stephen A. and to his audience. And one of the things he said was that he recently got his piece worked on. Now, obviously, this beef between Cameron and Chad Ocho goes back because Cameron, when Chad, before he signed on to Nightcap, he was a free agent, and Cameron was trying to offer Chad to come on to be a part of the platform as well as give him a significant payday. As you can clearly hear, Cameron called Chad directly. Chad didn't want to talk to him. He wanted him to go through his agent. Just what Hollywood was just saying. Just what I was just saying. What? The middleman. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be gaslighting and all hell broke loose. So Hollywood, man, take me through your thoughts, man, when you watched that video of Cameron just annihilating Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, I think you got to know, Cameron's just that kind of dude anyway. And I've only met Ocho once, and it was a very quick, I didn't get any bad vibes from him. But from us having mutuals, though, I will say that Ocho's a very playful guy. I'll say that. I'll say that when you talk about that. So I don't know, he could have been being for real. He and when it comes to responding to it and how he's acting and all that kind of stuff there. But I know Cameron, man, obviously from that, he don't play. He just talking, he giving it to him how a lot of people want to hear it, right? Like New York, right? So to go a little bit deeper here, and honestly, like I said, I think it goes back. It's like the culture. The sports game is silly. It's really silly. Yeah. How a lot of stuff can start just by internet and talking and tweeting when that could have been hashed out privately, a conversation. And now you're talking about embarrassment, and you got people's families involved, people's kids seeing that and all that kind of stuff. It's that's how deep it goes, right? And we're in sports. Sports. And listen, Monty, how long have you been doing this? How long you been doing this?
We got it off the ground in January, but we started this thing 5 years ago.
I'm talking about being in the industry just in general, starting in sports.
Shit, since I was in sixth grade.
Sixth grade. Jiselle, how about you? How long you been here? You been doing this?
Professionally, I would say like a good 3.5 years.
Oh, well.
Bryant, how about you?
47 years.
47 years. All those years combined, can y'all tell me how many times y'all feel like somebody lied to y'all? Or said something behind y'all back? Or did something wrong to y'all? Or did
47 million times.
So what they exactly. And that's the bad part about it. That's the bad part about it. Like, this is the industry that we're in, though, and that we have to continue to evolve in, that we have to continue smiling at people around. Like, it's sad. It's sad, man. And I really do hope that we can do better one day, but
we have to, because again, like, I'm the type of person, if you have a problem with me, if there's something I say that offends you, if there's something I do that may have pissed you off, if we had that relationship, call me directly. Text me directly. Let's have this conversation. I'm not the type of person, for one, to go onto in front of a camera, to go in front of a mic and badmouth somebody personally, especially because that's just not who I am. That's not my MO. It's not how I was raised. But for things like that, why is it a point to feel like it's okay to go in front of an audience that you may have, to go in front of a mic and camera and just badmouth somebody and then get personal?
Well, you know what though? Now, to a certain degree, not anymore. Before I gave my life to Christ, I'll say. Okay. I believed in the saying, wherever you play is where you lay. Right? And so if you play on the internet, then I'm going to play on the internet. If you play privately, then I'm going to play privately. But like I said, that's not anything to glorify or anything like to just constantly put out there. So with that, it's like I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you have to ask your question again, because I know I wanted to get that out for sure. But yeah, man, like that stuff. That's goes
life.
Deep.
It's life, and you know what I've learned from my therapist. Shout out to Miss Virginia. She told me what you see, what you do for others, don't expect that back in return.
100%.
See, I'm a good-hearted guy. There's been many a times where I've had situations where it was my last and I still gave with the expectation of not wanting it back or not wanting something back in return, because that's just who I am as a person in my heart. But I've also learned that people will take your kindness and your good heart for their advantage. And in the end, you're going to be one that's going to get hurt. And you got to deal with the BS and picking up the pieces that was dropped. And it's like, you know, everybody, it's a shicey world. I'm just going to call it how it is. Real shicey. I could be friends with somebody today, build a relationship, and then we could split up and it can go south in a month or two. And that's why I'm a big believer in words and actions aligning. It has to, because when a person's actions don't align with their words, they're just words. Somebody can tell me everything I want to hear. Monty, this, we're going to do that. The brand, this, life, money, whatever. But if your actions don't align with it, then that's why I don't get too high. I don't get too low anymore. People say, you know, because before I used to be like, oh man, like this person's going to do this, or this person's going to do that, or this is what I'm expecting. But when the actions show otherwise, am I the type? Why am I getting mad over something that I can't control? So I feel as though we, as a culture, and just as a world, you know, with the new presidential thing going on, and obviously, I feel as though that's dividing the world as is, and then religion that divides the world as is. You know, we have to do a better job of uplifting each other, because, you know, I'm all about giving energy, but damn sure I want that shit back. You know what I mean? Because what you put out is what you get in the universe. And, you know, like Hollywood said, he gave his life to Christ, and it's changed his perspective. It's changed his mindset. It's changed his mentality. And the results show, because being the type of person that he once said, well, what he wants to do in terms of matching energy, where did it get him? Where does it get you? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. A few brownie points on the internet to have people on social media laugh and repost and joke. That don't really do shit. Social media is fake. Shit, like, go ahead, Hollywood.
It was after, are y'all aware of like the Big Meech and 50 Cent beef?
Yes.
Have y'all heard about that on social media to some type degree? Okay, perfect. So, like I said, like, I lead culture here at I Am Athlete. That's what I do. it was a topic that I decided to put in the show. And, you know, based on other conversations that myself and Brandon had, you know, like just like news, like kind of putting that stuff out there. And I basically asked, well, how did they feel about the situation in itself? And it was actually when Big Meech came out and said, listen, I haven't told on nobody. This ain't got nothing to do with this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he was supposed to be having a party in Miami, a welcome home party in Miami. I'm at some club or stadium out here on February 13th. Well, 50 Cent responded to that same video that Big Meech put out like seconds later. And he was saying like, oh, what would such and so feel about this? How would they feel about this? Or you snitched. How you gonna go to the party? You on house arrest. That was the video that 50 Cent put out like seconds later after Big Meech released like that video, basically kind of explaining himself. I entered that into the show the next day, the rundown. Mike Sims Walker, UCF, Jacksonville Jaguars, NFL legend in my eyes as well, but he would say differently because of the 8 knee surgeries that he had. But nonetheless, there's like, he came out and said that 50 Cent is a culture vulture. Culture vulture. It did numbers. 3,000 shares, like 6,000 some likes, 100,000 some views on social media platforms. It did absolute numbers. So the clip in itself did well. But after the show, myself, Brandon, post-production meeting, he says, I love the topic, but I hated the question. Because in itself, we're not celebrating the culture, we're tearing down the culture.
Absolutely.
And I was like, damn, I know better. And we're having these conversations in itself. And you paying attention to it, you see it daily. But why does it continue to happen? Because we keep talking about it, Monty. We keep entertaining you. We keep liking you. We keep sharing it. So if we're going to have these conversations, let's make it intellectual. Let's make it worthwhile having. Even if they never see it. Even if they never even choose to entertain it. But your platform, they see, they be like, oh, damn, that's another perspective. That really ain't funny. Right? That really ain't funny that Big Meech made hundreds of millions of dollars selling crack cocaine and cocaine to people across the world from Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, everything. And 50 Cent was robbing and whatever, allegedly, I'll say. Right? So it's like all of that like plays into a sense. You're supposed to celebrate the culture. So if you're going to talk about something negative, talk about it from another perspective. Don't just speculate. Don't just say, oh, I know this person, or I talked to this person and they said da-da-da, da-da-da. You just continuing to stir up the beef. You stirring up the problem.
Don't even know it.
Telling you. But that was
it. It's sales. You know, negativity sells. It's just all, you're making money from negativity. That's all it is. And the bad part about it, it brings us down in the pits of hell, and we are at the bottom because of it.
100%.
Yeah. Unrivaled, moving on. This league right here, I personally love it. I'm all for it. It gives WNBA players the opportunity to get better. It actually gives them more bargaining rights as they go into the next CBA that should be coming up this year. For people out there that don't know, the league was founded, July 6, 2023. Founders, Nafisa Collier, Breonna Stewart, 2 UConn alums. First season this year, 2025. President is Alex Basil, who's married to who? Nafisa Collier. Part to allow WNBA players to play domestically and to bypass complications from the WNBA's prioritization rule for players who choose to play overseas in the WNBA offseason. Shot clock in Unrivaled is shortened to 18 seconds for full possession and 12 seconds for resets. The season includes a 9-week total of play, including playoffs. 6 teams will play in a round-robin schedule. The top 4 teams in the standings at the conclusion of the regular season will make the playoffs. Unrivaled will feature a one-on-one single elimination tournament played in February to determine the best one-on-one player in the world. In December 2024, the president of Unrivaled, Alex Basil, announced that the league's total salary pool for the 2025 season is $8 million. The winner of the 2025 1v1 midseason tournament will earn a minimum of $250,000. That's more than 90% of the league's contracts for players. If you look at the recent game, in Unrivaled, you had Angel Reese and Team Phenom versus Team Rose. Of course, Team Rose took the victory. Chris played the highlights. Angel Reese in that game, 23 points, 8 of 16 from the field, 14 rebounds. We know what Angel Reese needs to do heading into year 2 of the WNBA season with all the hype, all the smoke coming around with her and Caitlin Clark. Bryant, I'll be honest, personally, I'm in love with the league. I think this has been a fantastic start. They planned it properly. They brought this thing in 2023. They let it bypass 2024. But right now, with perfect planning in terms of knowing that you have to go back to the negotiation table with a new CBA deal, contracts will be higher, salaries will be higher. The game is growing. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. But for Unrivaled League, Bryant, what's your take on it?
I'm going to be honest with you. When I sat there and I watched it, and it took me back into what year did COVID come out? What was it? 2020, 2021. I thought this was the damn bubble league. I swear to you. I looked at the background and I said, who's playing bubble basketball? Like, it says 2025. I'm like, is this a rerun from back in 2020, 2021? I said, what the hell's going on? I didn't know anything about it. I swear to you, I didn't. I saw the colors in the back. I saw no bleachers in the background, but I saw some people cheer. I said it looked just like LeBron James playing for the Lakers in a bubble, and they call themselves NBA championship, playing a total of 20 games for the whole season. It's something that I get used to. I think Angel Reese played a phenomenal game that day. It looked kind of weird to me. It takes some adjustment to play in that interseason type basketball league. Everything's evolving. It's just going to get me a minute to kind of get used to it. But I think it's a good idea to slide them in there during the season right now before their season starts. And it kind of brings up a momentum and get things started early. But it was kind of a shocker for me to see him playing this early. I'm just keeping it honest.
It's a good offseason. I rather my players play in America, which is played in Florida, and to go overseas and have another Brittany Griner situation where you're stuck in another country and then we don't even want to go back down the road. But I think obviously this right here, this opportunity with the $8 million pot with players getting minimum $250,000. This is a lot of money that they're going to get in their career. The most they probably will get in their career outside the endorsement deals. With this right here, you have big time investors. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. You got the CEO of Body Armor. You have Gino Auriemma. You have obviously the great Brianna Stewart. You have Maya Moore. I mean, the list goes on in terms of investors that are pouring into this thing to see it grow. And we do know that Paige Buckets and Juju will be coming into the Unrivaled next season, obviously after their college career is over. So it's all but positivity moving forward. But before we transition and get up out of here, I wanted to give a special thank you to our dog, Jiselle, who took the time to come on from Houston, Texas. Jiselle, tell the folks of the Rewind that's watching, where can we find you on social media?
Woo! Okay, you guys can find me at Sports with Strong on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And you can follow my personal account if you'd like at Jiselle Strong, JISELLESTRONG. And we have a podcast every Thursday night at 9:45 p.m. Central Time. And it's called Baddies on the Boards, and that is our NBA podcast. It's a lot of fun. I have 2 co-hosts, Spencer and James. They do an incredible job with me. We have a lot of fun. It's something you don't want to miss.
Am I coming on?
You are coming on. We'll have to figure out scheduling and whatnot. But
Baddie with the boards. I'm coming, folks. Giselle, go ahead, Bryant.
A baddie. You got to be a baddie.
You got to be a baddie. That's our special ending segment of the show. Is who is your baddie of the week?
Who's your baddie?
I tell you mine. I tell you mine right now. Now, Nia Long. I mean, whoo.
No. I like how Marquette is just laughing. No. You gotta
Touchdown.
The baddie has to be an NBA player. Or a college player now.
She's an honorary WNBA player for the week because that came across my feed. She's definitely a baddie.
First of all, I am never calling another man a baddie. That is one. That is one. ever. You got to say WNBA or something.
So, if we're going to go WNBA, my baddie of the week is going to be Coach Ivy from Notre Dame. She can dress her ass off. She's a pretty good damn coach. She has over 100 career wins in 3 years, and Notre Dame will be in the Final Four. Write it down or underline it twice. Giselle, appreciate you taking the time to come on a Rewind. Hope to see you soon, as well as coming up for March Madness. Again, you got her socials if you need to, at Sports with Strong. Again, a hosting creator for an NBA podcast called Baddie on the Boards with at Athletically Decline, which airs every Thursday live, 9:45 p.m. CST time. Giselle, appreciate your time. We love you. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
So before we sign off, I want to give a special shout out to my nephew, Sacoy Hayward, my man.
Hayward.
Over 105 points in a single season. I'm sure that is a New Jersey Falcon record. Plays in a 10-year-old league. His stats this year, just think of this. Shout out to his dad, Sean, who works hard with him. Shout out to his brother, Jay, who's also works hard with him and trains in Weequahic Park, man. The work shows. This is our team photo we did. I was happy to go to the game this past weekend to see my dog score. He had 2 games in one day. I was looking for him to get that 100 goal, but he didn't get it. But, my man, this guy is fucking phenomenal. I mean, this year alone, 105 points in the season. Bryant, you love numbers. Here's your numbers. In 23 games played this year, 23 games is played in this season, he has scored 99 goals. 24 hat tricks. Let me say that again. 23 games played, 99 goals on the year, 24 hat tricks. Chris, you love hockey. I love hockey. I mean, the kid's phenomenal. He's on his way. Nephew, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on a hell of a season. I know he's got a tournament coming up in March in Maryland. I mean, the kid just does it all. His stick handling is perfect. His skating is phenomenal. He's got to play more harder on defense because he plays just like his father. No freaking defense whatsoever. It runs in the DNA for sure, but he can do it all. He carries the whole. He's got a great team. Shout out to his goalie, Thiago. Hold the fort down. Who played the hell of a game on Sunday. And shout out to the coaches, the parents, and the players, man. They come up and they show up and they show out, man. But this kid right here, the NHL, you start calling now because the future is here right now. You ain't got to wait. It's right here. And he's on his way to a phenomenal career in the hockey world. Both his brothers played, Jay and Devin. They both play hockey, so it runs in the family. But, I mean, look at the highlights, man. They just speak for himself, man. What can he do? I mean, he by himself take on the whole team. Dance with me. Let me get that. Whoa. Back pay. Pass it. Teammate. Got to finish. I don't know. Back. Up. Give it. Up. He got it. There it is. So, I mean, look at that. Look, let me get that. Woo! While falling. Let me get that. I mean, Bryant, man, take me through it, man. When you look at this young man, what do you see in Sacoy Hayward?
I see him myself in the football world. Same thing. It's phenomenal. The kid, after I watched him during the offseason, during the summertime, him being on the ice down in Ironbound Stadium, he was doing some things there, and I can't even put on the freaking skates. I don't know what to do with him, but this kid can go, man. He can go. He can go. He's head over heels at the top in the state of New Jersey, and
10 years old.
He's like 10 years old, and
10 years old.
He's going to be something special here in the next 8 years. And once he goes to college and play hockey, he's going to be legit. So I look forward to seeing him in an NHL. Here coming up soon, and he has a long career ahead of him for sure.
Coy, man, keep kicking ass in the classroom, keep kicking ass on the ice. Your future's already written. All you got to do is stay focused, stay disciplined. You got guys like us to help you along the way, and that's what it's all about. 105 points in the season, 23 games played, 99 goals, 24 hat tricks. Appreciate you, man. Keep going. I want to give a special thanks to our guests that came on episode 7, lucky 7 of the Rewind. My dog Marquette Walker, aka Hollywood, as well as Houston, Texas finest Jiselle Strong. You guys can support them. But Marquette, before we go, man, tell the people where they can find you on social media and what you got going on your end.
Yep. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Hollywood X Media. Again, it's Hollywood X Media on Instagram as well as TikTok. I'm on I Am Athlete Daily, Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. YouTube, and I'm also featured on the Revolt Show, Behind the Headlines, that airs, I think, around 3 or 4 p.m. every Wednesday on our Revolt Sports Weekly show that we do as well.
If you haven't, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Global Sports Entertainment 3. We're over 100 subscribers, but we're trying to get to 200. We need all the help and love we can get. Like and subscribe and support, as well as on our social media page at Global Sports Entertainment 3 on IG, as well as Twitter. Apple Podcasts, you guys can like and subscribe to that at Global Sports Entertainment 3 as well. Want to give a special shout out, special thank you to Chris and 1990 Studios for what they do each and every week for us. Without them, the Rewind doesn't exist. We love them. Thanks to our guests. Bryant, any last words before we sign off tonight?
Hey, just be like the old school. Let's do it in 2 and 2. And I'll see you guys next week.
Hey, hold on, wait. Don't do OG like that. Wait, don't do it.
Hey, you remember how it was back? It was like, I see you in 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Brian's got off next week, so this is pretty much he's got a week vacation without me. I'll miss him next week. But I love you, Monty Moss, Brian Garvin, Hollywood signing off. Jiselle Strong, appreciate you. 1990 Studios, Chris, love you, brother. Signing off. Another episode in the books. See you guys next week with a special episode. Won't disclose yet. This episode will be out on all platforms, streaming YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Show love to Hollywood. Show love to Jiselle. The Rewind, episode 7, signing off. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with the boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with the boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me.